Ladies and gentlemen, the Solana ecosystem call. Tonight, Ansem, Mert, Sixth Man Ventures,
Meteora,
Maple Finance, Code Wallet, and more. With your host, Kash Donda.
Chase Barker in the chat just realizing that that is indeed his voice that we cloned using AI without consent. So Chase, love you. Thanks for coming out, buddy. Let's go. So the thing that I really want to do next is help kind of give people some context. In case you have not come to this before, what are we trying to do here, right? What is the value of this call? Maybe you noticed. Crypto is a crazy place, right? Prices are going up, prices are going down, regulations come, they go. People are friends one day, enemies the next. Crypto is craziness. But there's one thing that shines through all of that craziness. And that is the people who actually create real value for real people, right? The builders who are out there. And that's what this call is actually all about. The community of builders that are Solana. I think on the Luma page, there's something like 2,600 people who have signed up for this event, which is crazy to me, right? Just insanity. And that's 2,600 people who are not scared of the craziness of crypto, right? If they were, they'd be doom scrolling, they'd be pivoting to AI, doing whatever the hell they're doing, right? Instead, they want to be here. And I think that really means something. Because right now, the bull market is over. The tourists have left, and we are what remains. So this call is by, for, and about the real producers of Solana. Everything else is noise. Can I get an amen in the chat? Amen! Can I get a little amen in the chat, please? Yeah, there we go. All right. And yes, I do have more sound effects this time. So get ready for a bunch of those throughout the rest of the call. We're going to get going here. If you're new, here's how this works real quick. We have what I think, I'm a little bit biased, the best chat in all of crypto, possibly in all of the internet. I don't know, but the chat box is really where it's at. Get those fingers onto your keyboard, get ready to smash that W button, make jokes, meet some people. This absolutely is a cult, says Addy. Yes, it is indeed. Use the chat. Yeah, the W's are already coming in. Second thing, we have Q&A available. This is a Zoom webinar. If you haven't used it before, you can use the Q&A function to ask questions to me and all the other panelists. All the other panelists will be answering those questions as well. So if you got questions for Ben or Sixth Man or Tanner or whoever else, drop those over on the Q&A and people can answer those simultaneously. And then finally, you're going to want to make sure you stay until the end for a surprise. We are giving away not one, but two Breakpoint tickets. We are giving away early access to not one, but two protocols. We're world premiering not one, but two different videos. And quite honestly, the POAP at the end is, I think, like the best looking art in all of Solana. That's just my opinion. A lot of good stuff happening. Stay until the end. All right, here's the agenda for the call as well. We start off with the wins of the month, 15 of the biggest and best things to happen on Solana over the past month. Spoiler alert, there was a lot of them this week. Then we're going to world premiere a new Hyperdrive hackathon video. We got special guests, Mike and Carl's OGs in the space here, alpha drops from a bunch of top projects, work to earn with some new earning opportunities. Man, I'm already losing my voice and we're just getting started here. And then the POAP at the very end. Hype, Hyperdrive, says Victor, and he's not wrong. All right. As a reminder, we are going to do a $50 bounty for the best recap thread of this call. Anytime that it's posted over the next few days, go ahead and do that if you want to win a little bit of money, get a little Twitter clout, be a personal friend of mine. Great way to do all of that. Okay, enough of the nonsense. Let's get into everyone's favorite segment. All right, drop a little W for my sound effects guy who made this happen. Shout out Seth for making that happen. We have some banger wins of the month. We're going to start off with a little category I call We Like the Tech. Because if you might have noticed, some other people are liking the tech over the past few weeks. Number one, we have Visa expanding stablecoin settlement pilot to Solana, which I just think is tremendous news, right? If anybody knows payments infrastructure, it is Visa, the literal biggest payments company in the world. They looked around, they evaluated the options, and they saw that Solana's underlying tech is where the value really is. The chat is going to break right now. It's going a little bit too fast almost. But shout out to Visa, shout out to the Solana BD team and everyone else involved in that. They weren't the only ones, folks, who were impressed by this. Number two, our friends over at Maker, one of the largest DeFi protocols in all of crypto, are now considering Solana for their new chain. This is going to happen over the next 3 months, right? Or over the next few years. It's not going to happen tomorrow. But again, people who know what they're talking about seem to really like Solana. seems to be a signal. So shout out to Rune and MakerDAO for being open-minded, and the rest of the community for welcoming them with open arms. Win number 3, Shopify. Anyone ever heard of Shopify? Maybe like one of the biggest e-commerce players in the world. They have now integrated Solana Pay. That's 4.4 million Shopify stores that can now take payments with Solana. Just incredible. Solana is the best chain for payments. Payments is arguably the best use case for all of crypto. Seems like a no-brainer here. W for Shopify. Over there. Then we have win number 4. Our friends over at Maple Finance are returning to Solana. We're going to hear more from them in just a little bit. I got to tell you, folks, you're going to look at their product and you are going to want to bring all of your staples back on chain because they're bringing cash management for any treasury right here on Solana. We'll get the full update in a bit. And finally, last team that liked the tech, they liked what they saw, Threshold Network. Shout out to TBTC coming to Solana. You now have decentralized tokenized Bitcoin on Solana, all sorts of DeFi applications getting better. We love Bitcoin. Everyone does. Not the easiest to use and play with. That is now being fixed on Solana of all places, which is pretty great. So yeah, the W's I think are well deserved here. Need more cash? ASMR. I don't know exactly what that means, but I'll just keep talking and hopefully that will be exactly what you need. Solana will save us all, says Emmy. Yeah, possibly. Okay, let's go next to this little category called doing numbers. A few teams doing some big numbers here. The first one in August, 15 million compressed NFTs minted on Solana. I'm not very good at math, so I can't tell you how much that would cost on any other chain, but I can tell you on Solana, it is damn cheap. I think this probably would have been about $1,500 or less. And now CNFTs have officially taken over as the dominant NFT standard on Solana, which we love to see. That number is only going to go further out. Shout out to FKN, which I think is a word I'm not allowed to say on this call. FKN, Mark Hugh for making that happen. Shout out to Drip as well. Shout out to John Wong in the chat who helped shepherd this around. Drop a little tiny fingers emoji for our compressed NFTs on Solana. One of the best, I think, technical innovations happening right now in crypto. Let's go. And then win number 7. Don't be an asshole. Stake your goddamn soul. People have heard me say this a million times. I'll say it another million here. 1 million SOL have now been staked on Marinade Native. Big shout out to them. They were on the last call. My chef's hat is back there from Marinade. So yeah, thank you to them for that. Love to see this. More people staking. That is what we need. Further decentralize, strengthen up the network, folks. Next group here is all around shipments. People were busy shipping this month. Srijani, who helps make this deck, there was 20 of them that we had to cut down. So there's many more outside of this, but one that we definitely want to celebrate here is Phantom, introducing sign in with Solana. Maybe you've noticed when you try to sign in on a dApp, especially, Tensor or whatever these dApps might be, you have to once connect your wallet and then you have to do a second click, which says kind of authorize or sign this message and some weird gobbledygook text. That is terrifying for anyone who is not crypto native, right? And it's just like the worst UX. I'm sure there's good reasons for it to exist, but no longer. Phantom is here, sign in with Solana, one click, feels Web2 native. It is awesome. I can show it to my mom, my uncles, and so on else, and they can come on to Solana as well. So drop a little W in the chat for our friends over at Phantom for making everybody's life a bit easier here. Then we have win number 9, Membrane Finance, bringing the first Euro stablecoin to Solana as well. More stablecoins. That's what I like. To quote my friend Neil Schroff, I'm a stablecoin maxi. I'll take all the stablecoins you got as more businesses come on chain as well. Love to see that all the continent can start to use Solana here as well. So shout out to Membrane Finance for shipping that. Elusive shipping private token swaps with Jupiter as well. So big shout out to Ben on the call. Elusive, a former guest on the ecosystem call, friends of the family, friends of Zupa team. Private swaps now there for full anonymity and privacy, which we love to see. ZK. Kind of a big deal. And it's here on Solana today, not in 3 years. Already here, already works. And then finally, shout out to Camino Finance. Vic and the gang launched Creator Vaults, which I think are super cool for any liquidity providers who have some custom strategies that they want to run, right? Pretty useful management tool for them on DeFi. All right, we're coming into the last group. Shiva says, shout out to everyone. Yeah, that is my general approach in life. And everyone gets a shout out. Community wins here, the last group, and there were some big ones this week, or this month, I should say. This one in particular, I think, went under the radar. So I wanted to make sure that we got a chance to share this one. Solend, no stranger to an exploit themselves, noticed a problem that in the ecosystem, when someone gets exploited, there's oftentimes a long lag from when the exploit happens to when the program can be frozen and the damage can continue there. So what do? They developed Brick and open sourced it for everyone in the community to have better ability to shut down exploits as they happen. We love the open source. King shit is being said in the chat, and that's exactly right. Just love Solana and what all of their contributions to the space. So shout out to them, a win for us all. Solana or no llama, says Paul. Yeah, not wrong as well. Win number 13, Solarplex V2 has been crushing lately. People haven't seen this. It is a new social network built on top of Solana. Hundreds of users posting every day, 1,000 posts a day, which I love. It's only been out for a few weeks. And if you want to get in on the action, a little spoiler alert, or I shouldn't say spoiler alert, a little surprise for everybody here. Pratik Saria is about to start dropping some invites here in the chat right now. Who's better than the ecosystem call? You come to the ecosystem call, you get early access to things, free access, go use those codes. Hard to get right now, very valuable. Go hang out there. Toli's on there, Banana's on there. I think a ton of great people are on there. I'm going to start posting more on there as well myself. So big shout out to Vixit and the team, both for building a fun and usable application and open sourcing their numbers. Love the transparency, showing what the adoption curve is like, really trying to find product market fit in the real way. Absolutely love it. Okay, it's a private island party for Solana natives, says Namadi. He's not wrong. All right, only two more, folks. The second to last one, the penultimate one here. The OPOS hackathon has come to a close. 150 submissions, 600 participants. This is the future, folks. As much as we love the Solana Foundation or whatever you think of the foundation, the future is going to be community run. It's going to be organizations like Lamport, like Super Team, and many, many others. They're going to push forward the community. And that's why I wanted to make sure we gave a shout out to here. It's not easy to organize a hackathon. Big shout out to Irfan, Soulblaze, Mert, and everyone else who is over there. Love to see it. You can go check out all those projects on Cubic as well. OPOSW, says Jay. That's not wrong. That's not wrong at all. And then finally, people maybe heard about this. I don't know. Do you guys hear that there's this new Hyperdrive thing that's happening? Has anyone heard about this in the chat? Do you know about this? Hyperdrive is officially started. Hyperdrive all spaced out, says Yash. That's right. The hackathon has kicked off $1 million in prizes, folks. This is the chance to change your life. I don't know how many people in Solana are only here because of the hackathon, but it's a significant number of the venture-backed startups that have come out of Solana have come through the hackathon. $600 million raised. It's a real number. It's crazy. So you definitely want to get involved over there. Go register on the main site if you haven't already. And speaking of the Hyperdrive hackathon, I want to go next into a little world. Actually, before we go there, let me pause. Any wins that we missed? People in the chat, let me know. What other great things happened on Solana that we did not add into the deck? Srijini says why. She's the one who makes the deck. Anything else that we missed here before we move on to this world premiere? Phoenix released a UI. Shout out to them. Solana All-Stars crushing down in Nigeria and in Turkey. Hacker House Berlin was a blast. I see a lot of people here. MacB, the Bonk Billionaires, Bonk Bingo crushed over there. Fluxbot crossed 900 users. God, I love the transparency. This is great. Soulflare, shout out to Vidor from Soulflare. They have a crazy announcement coming up, by the way. Definitely follow Soulflare to find out what that's going to be like. All right, bunch of good wins over here. You can now edit your profile. Next up, I want to go into a world premiere. This is an ad that Super Team has produced for the hackathon. It is, it's a little risque. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'm going to play this right now. Let me pull this up and we'll see. What I would say, it's about 2.5 minutes long and it's one of two parts. We're showing the first part now. I'm going to show the second part at the end of the call. So drop a little put a little popcorn in the chat like Kadeem did there. Put a little popcorn in the chat as I pull this up. Let's see. And also let me play my little Netflix sound effect. Okay.
Web3 is about ownership. Web3 communities are going to change the world. This is block, and this is chain.
AI, generative AI, generative AI, generative AI, AI. It uses AI to bring AI.
I'm moving the entire collection to Polygon. Yo guys, we are moving to Ethereum, slower blockchain, higher gas. It's going to be dope. Yo fam, we are moving to Cardano. That's where all the action's at. I'm really excited now because we're going to be going to Polkadot. Base is going to be our new base. I'm thinking of moving the entire collection up to AWS, and you can just sell it on Amazon. Amazon's throughput is way higher than any blockchain.
Web3 is the future, man. Web3 communities will replace traditional corporates as the de facto organizational structure. There'll be no more middlemen taking chunks out of what belongs to each and every one of us. Web3 is the future, man. Web3 communities.
I just want my burger, dude.
So like I was saying,
$100 million.
but what we've made is this.
$200 million.
But the product that we've.
$400 million? I'll throw in my baby too. Huh?
Deal. So we have a fully built out product that lets you trade cross.
$10 for 90% of your supply.
Deal.
All right, there we go. Drop a little W in the chat for our friends. This is a Tanmay Bhatt, Devya Bopana, More, and a few other people put that together. It seems like the chat liked it. All right, chat, I need you to pause your W's for 1 second because I think we just posted this to Twitter as well. So if we can get that Twitter link into the chat so that folks can, do a little like, do a little retweet, get it out into the world. I think this has the potential get a little viral. We'll see. Get some new builders into the space. Can somebody drop that link into the chat? He said expectantly. And there we go. I think Cap, as usual, coming through. Let's make sure that this is the right one here. And Cap didn't just try to get him going. Oh, and this is the actual ad. I think we should have the actual ad live, Dave. This is the time. How could I forget? Hackathon.superteam.fun. We just launched this site. If you are motivated by that ad, or if you want to build something cool, or maybe you know someone who's building something cool, go check out hackathon.superteam.fun. We have a bunch of resources on there that'll make your life way easier. 200 ideas are on there. We have a presentation template that's on there. We have 50 plus dev tools that are on there and a bunch of real world meetups and everything else as well. So go check that out. Okay. With that said, let's move to the next section here. Right, I do have one for every section, so be prepared. There are a few more to come. Overall, the network's looking pretty good over here. I gotta say, you look at non-voting transactions up 11%, TPS still up above 300, and active wallets up 7% month on month as well, which we love to see. If you are seeing these stats and you're like, it kind of feels like we're back. It feels like maybe we should be excited. You're gonna love our next segment here. I wanted to bring on as special guests 2 people who I think have been long-term supporters of Solana. It's no secret. I don't want to name anyone, but there are some VCs that were here when the times were good, and then they were nowhere to be found when shit hit the fan. Our next guests were not that. Mike and Carl, I think, are considered by many to be some of the best value add investors in all of crypto. Been known to get on calls and provide really helpful advice and connections. And we just, I'm super excited to have them here. They've been so loyal, supportive, and thesis driven since the very beginning. So our next segment here, the special guests. Special guest time, special guest time. Please welcome, drop a little GM in the chat for Mike and Carl from Six Man Ventures. Mike and Carl, how are you guys doing?
Doing well. Thank you for having us. Really, really excited to be here and appreciate, the kind introduction. The way I'd like to kick it off is, to your point, we've been investing pretty heavily in the Solana ecosystem for 2 years. And we're doing that because of the merits of the ecosystem, the quality of the infrastructure, the quality of the applications. Unlike many, many funds in the space, we are, I would say, call it chain agnostic. So we do invest in a number of, other areas, the EVM, Ethereum ecosystem, et cetera. But we keep coming back to the wonderful teams building applications and infrastructure in Solana. On the merits, and we've been doing that now for 2 years. Our portfolio sort of spans. I think the question that you posed to me originally, and what I want to kind of frame this with is, kind of what excites you most about Solana, and why are you excited, for the future? And separate from the bullet points, the number one thing is that out of the, I think, 24 or so, at least 20 investments that we've made in Solana ecosystem projects, protocols, and companies, what we've largely seen is, I think, every single team that we've invested in is continuing to build on Solana. And we invested in early stage projects that could have struggled and left and done other things. And almost every single one remains here. And we're seeing new exciting teams every day. So we've invested in everything from Magic Eden at its earliest stages to StepN, to companies like Crossmint that are increasingly entering Solana. And those are kind of at the application layer. We invested in the first round that Squads did, and then recently invested more money into Squads because we're so excited about what they're doing with their sort of replicating and even going beyond what Safe is doing. And I think you're going to hear a lot more about that in October. But the general macro point, we're investors in Orca. So literally every aspect of the ecosystem we have exposure to. And I just don't think the general world and the general narrative today truly understands the breadth of high quality teams and capabilities that Solana brings to the table. One other one I'll mention is Metaplex from NFT infrastructure, and another is Meso with payments infrastructure. So you just have some of the best teams in the world. And I'm talking about, you talked about a number of sort of external validation, Visa, Shopify, and that's incredibly exciting. But it is so rare to see a blockchain ecosystem that is able to both reach those external established parties while at the same time creating so many novel, powerful, and enduring native applications and infrastructure providers. And the other thing I'll say is it's a hell of a resilient ecosystem, because it's almost unprecedented to have a shock, the scale, scope, and size of FTX, hit, and basically hit in, call it 9-10 months ago, and fast forward to today, and you just kind of focused on this Hyperdrive hackathon. We just had the Opaz hackathon, and we have hundreds, if not thousands, of developers submitting. They're extremely resilient. The talent flows continue at an incredible pace. And what's so wonderful is, from everyone from labs to foundation to the builders themselves, there really is a deep spirit of optimism. And hey, that thing that didn't go right last year, hey, that time that the blockchain went down, let's diagnose what the issues were, and let's get better. And I think 6 months now and running of uptime is incredibly impressive. Building client diversity with Jump Firedancer coming in 2024 is extremely important and impressive. And I've just seen a relentlessness, an underdog fight that, in my 20 plus years of professional experience, is broadly indicative of an area where it's smart to invest, because it's likely that the people who have that resiliency, drive, and optimism are going to, on balance, succeed.
Oh,
Carl, do you want to just give a quick intro? I know I like to talk. I get excited, but Carl's my technical partner at Six Man Ventures, just an incredible ecosystem leader. Would love him to share a couple of things at a high level that are exciting to him.
Yeah, I've been worked with Mike at Paxos before that, where I led blockchain on the product side. And I was there for the dark days of Solana, where it kept going down. And we were talking to some of the largest financial institutions of the world, and they were saying, how can we trust this chain? We can't issue stablecoins on this chain because it's so unreliable. Regulators wouldn't approve the chain. And I think, look at the recent 6 months, it's all green. And so we just look at the quality of just continual development, investment, and shipping that Solana, both foundation but also the ecosystem, have done, and it's just truly incredible. So I've been working with Mike for about 1.5 years. I can truly say that he did offer his children to win some of those early deals. It was successful. So sorry for Mike's family, but a big W for Six Man Ventures.
I bought him back.
I think the other thing that Mike, I just want to add on what Mike said, is just the design itself. And if you look at whether you call it integrated or monolith, at the end of the day, over the long term, it's going to be a much better experience for developers and reliable experience for developers to ship on this network. Rather than Ethereum where you have to deploy your own smart contracts and then, oh wait, now we need to manage this across multiple different optimistic rollups. And then, at some point we might need to build our own rollup. There's basically this like ever-ending scalability challenge that Ethereum natively has. And I think what's great about Solana, and we've seen this from mints like Mad Lads that get like millions of basically a transaction attempts a second. Basically, we can support this infrastructure. And so once your contract goes live, the actual blockchain portion of your integration just scales. And that actually creates incredible reliability and reduces headaches for founders over the long term, enabling them to actually put their engineering bandwidth towards building products and features for users rather than continually solving scaling challenges. So, I think Solana has just come so far, and just, Toli and Raj and the entire team were really prescient in terms of building something that scales at the speed of hardware rather than letting things like consensus and software upgrades getting in the way. So, we have been excited about Solana for a long time and continue to be.
Absolutely love it. I'd love to also get your guys' thoughts on kind of where you think things are going and what's exciting over the next 12 months. A lot was said about how resilient the ecosystem is. Very true. You look at the people on this call right now, for example. But what gets you guys excited as you look forward?
Absolutely. So I'll start. As I mentioned, 2 years ago, we started to invest in gaming projects on Solana, and what I think many folks underestimated was how long it takes for many of those things to come to market, the complexity of both building an incredible game with great mechanics, as well as dealing with all the complexity of blockchain. So we are involved in a number of projects that have raised additional money quietly over the past year and are bringing products to market in the coming months and to 2024. So we're really optimistic about all different types of gaming on Solana. We invested in BetDex, which provides infrastructure as well for sort of gambling and sports gaming. So we're really excited about that as well. That's one area. Another that we're looking at, obviously, DPIN has what I would call emerging product market fit, certainly on the sort of supply side, with Helium and HiveMapper on Solana. We're really keeping a keen eye on how the demand side grows for those products, but we're also evaluating, additional companies that could come into the market. And so we're just doing a tremendous amount of deep research into economics and long-term projects that can take advantage of physical infrastructure and build out on top of Solana. And then obviously our team has expansive payments experience. And we do think that Solana will be the default chain long-term for global payments. We deeply, deeply believe that it has an advantage. There may be others. I don't think there will be any one network, just like, you have MasterCard and Visa and, you have China's, internal networks. Like there's multiple. So, but we believe Solana will be one of the leading ones. And we're looking at teams. We've been hesitant, as of call it 12 months ago to really go deep on investment, just based on still, the user base being emergent and payments being an incredible scale business. But as we see network stability, as we see folks like Visa, Shopify, and some more that we know are evaluating the chain deeply and likely to launch things in the coming 12 months, we plan to ride that momentum by investing in native builders. And we've looked at a number. I don't want to call anyone out in a positive way since we're not really investors, but there are at least a half dozen world-class teams building incredible, Solana native payments products. And we do feel like as we move into the next stage of adoption, we're going to start to see some interesting things. I think that the focus should be, and we saw this when I was working at Google Wallet. Early on, we did it backwards and we focused on real world payments before digital payments. I deeply, deeply would advise payments projects, working in the space to focus on digital payments, things like payments for NFTs, things like payments for tokens and digital goods. And then you move up to e-commerce, and then, you move to the physical world, but physical world adoption takes a lot longer. But we are investing over a decade plus horizon here and plan to be a market for a long time, and think Solana will be one of the leading payments networks in the world, by 2035.
Yeah. And it's important to add that payments, Mike and I have worked in payments for a long time. It takes a while to change a payments network. Like Visa, it's incredibly exciting news. It's a pilot. It's going to take a very long time for that to actually mature and grow and scale, but it's going to forever change payments. Again, Visa's job today is orchestration and settlement, right? It's actually like they're really a settlement enabler where there's still a time lag between when you swipe that card to when the merchant gets the actual revenue for the purchase. With Solana, I think Visa, the reason they chose Solana, I would guess, is now they can actually facilitate instant settlement. So it's going to be better for merchants, better for customers. It's going to be less overhead and sort of back office work for Visa itself. And that's why I think they saw this coming, this instant settlement, now that payment can move at the speed of light. And they recognize Solana is the chain that's going to help get them to the next type of payments, moving beyond settlement, which they do some on Ethereum today, in let's say broad settlement between issuers and acquiring banks, to into settlements, millions of times per second across the world. And the last part that's really exciting to me is social. And as I mentioned, payments takes a long time to adopt and to grow. We're on a great track, but it's going to take time. Social and gaming and those are the areas where you can actually imagine 100 million users coming into Solana 1 year from today, right? With the right application being built, the right type of game being built. Those are the types of products that truly go viral. And so a lot of our investments in Solana have been, certainly infrastructure, but lots of social, lots of application layer technologies, because that's where we really think viral growth will come from, which would really bolster the name of Solana, the adoption of Solana, and where we're spending a lot of time.
And I think to just finalize last theme that ties to what Carl just said on social is this notion of loyalty and communities. I think it's focused historically around DAOs. I certainly have my own experience having launched, Lynx DAO on Ethereum, which is a golf and leisure DAO. And I think what we've found and others have found is it's less that the governance perhaps on chain is, or the governance is important, but I think what Solana does uniquely is it allows communities to focus on issuing things like loyalty credentials and leveling up and doing some of those things where, particularly with compressed NFTs, you don't have to store everything on chain, but you can store it on the ledger and then retrieve it as necessary. It's just perfectly suited, we believe, for really large at scale loyalty and social community interaction products. I know that sounds vague. We'll probably elaborate on a blog post very soon.
Looking forward to that. Thanks, guys, for coming on and sharing both the optimistic picture of like what is going on now and where things are going. Again, if you are watching this and you are thinking about competing in Hyperdrive, there is, 3 metric tons worth of alpha on this slide right now about where the world is going. Definitely go check out everything that Six Man has read. Mike, Carl, where can people catch up with you? Is Twitter the best place, or how should they find you?
Yeah, I'm basically always available on Twitter, even if it's blocked. I check my blocked messages. I don't know. Elon changes the settings all the time, but I'm available there. And Carl is as well. I'm just at MDUDAS.
There they are. The links are in the chat. Thank you, Srijity Cap, for bringing that up. Carl, same thing for you. Twitter is good.
Twitter's great. Our website as well. We also post research there. We do deep dives on especially tokenomics, which is so important for these communities. So I encourage you to check out our website as well to get to know us, our portfolio companies. You'll see tons of Solana, ones in there, which we're very excited about, and some deep dives on tokenomics that you might find insightful.
Fantastic. Well, guys, thanks for coming out. Drop a little W in the chat for Six Man Ventures, supporting the ecosystem, sharing builders, shilling every project in their portfolio as well. They should be. It's an impressive that you shilled all 20 right there. I did notice that.
I did my best.
Going wild. Appreciate you guys. All right.
Thanks all. Really appreciate it.
Cool. We're going to keep this good times going. We're about to go into the alpha drops. We're about to see 4 demos from 4 projects that I am giga excited about on Solana. Before we get there, as a reminder, stick until the end. Get the POAP. We are giving away 2 tickets to Breakpoint, each one worth $1,000. You just need to take a screenshot of that POAP in your wallet and then tag Jaris on Twitter. You can see him right there. He's the guy that does all the meme videos and all the graphics for this call. He's awesome. He says, "Oh Lord," in the chat as well. He will pick 2 people to get those free Breakpoint tickets. Please do that. All right. With that said, let's go into the next section.
Alpha drops.
That I think is like by far the coolest of the sound effects. I should have got them all to that. I'm going to play it again because I like it so much.
Alpha drops.
Benefits of being the host. You get to do stuff like that. All right, let's go next up to a man that I want to officially crown as king of the swaps. I don't know if people are going to be, if we can make that kind of catch on here. We have somebody who's not only the founder of, there he is. Not only the founder of Jupiter, one of the best, I think, crypto protocols on all of Solana, in my opinion, super easy to use. Not only does he look fine as hell in a black suit on the couch here, so shout outs to Bet on that, but he's also the founder of Meteora. They've done $350 million in swaps on their platform, and they have some exciting alpha to drop for people on this call. Will be get access to what Ben is about to talk about. Drop a little crown in the chat for the king of the swaps over here, Ben Chow. Ben, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, dude. Fantastic intro. I love it.
Take it away, my friend. You got 3 or 4 minutes. Tell the people what you are building.
Sure. 1 second. Can I share my screen? Is that all right? Let me know if you guys can see this.
The number of slides there give me a heart attack, but otherwise, I think we'll run through it pretty quickly here.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Look. Hey guys, my name is Ben. I'm one of the co-founders of Meteora. So, today I'm going to give you a preview of what we've been working on. We're calling it the DLMM, or a dynamic liquidity market maker. Before I go into the demo, I did want to give just a few slides just to sort of give a context of why we built this thing and what it does and whatnot. So real quick, DLM, we see a wide ranging of new token use cases coming into Solana. RWAs, Forex is one of them. And we think a new liquidity primitive is needed to better support these things. And then the second reason for this DLM is to improve LP profitability. It's like no secret that I think a lot of LPs still make their money on farming rewards. And it's really important, which is great for bootstrapping liquidity, but over the long run, it's not so great. And so, it's one of the main goals for Meteora has been trying to improve liquidity sustainability. We did it with dynamic vaults and dynamic pools to allow LPs to earn lending yield and on top of swap fees. And we think the DLM is going to dramatically improve LP profitability on the trading side. So, all right, so what is it? Okay, what is DLMM? If you look at the screen, heavily inspired by Trader Joe. So we're bringing these zero slippage price bins into Solana for the first time, which is going to dramatically increase the number of liquidity strategies any LP can do. And then the second main benefit for this is going to be dynamic fees. So basically the fees will change as the volatility in the market changes and grows. And that, again, is going to allow LPs to become even more profitable than they are today. And we're doing a couple of only on Solana things that we're building on top of this. One of them is composing on top of our dynamic vaults, which is a lending aggregator. So no matter what LP strategy you have, you will also earn yield from lending protocols on top of trading fees. And then the other cool thing that's on the roadmap for this thing that we think will only be on Solana is liquidity hooks, which are going to support a whole new range of use cases. One of the most interesting ones that we think is going to be really cool is like, imagine being able to sell your token, using one of our liquidity pools, setting your own curve. So as people buy up the token, the price of the token increases according to whatever curve you want to specify. And then automatically taking that capital and using it to buy back the token at a floor price. So you can guarantee for your token holders sort of a minimum floor price. And this happens automatically without you having to write any smart chain program or have anything audited. You could just use our pools right off the gate. All right, so let's get to the demo.
That is crazy, by the way. I don't know if people are fully comprehending. I see the chat's got a few W's already without even seeing it in practice.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so demo. We think it's gonna be fun. We're gonna make LPing more fun and more profitable. So let's show you what we have. Okay, so what you're looking at is actually just to kind of preface everything, we're still working on our alpha, and so which we'll be giving early access to folks. And what we're showing today is sort of I think is being able to add liquidity and change liquidity in sort of a Sol USDC pool. I think it's a pretty cool UX experience. Hopefully you agree, but why don't we get to it? So, all right. So the really neat thing you can see right now is that, like, for the first time, you can create and select from different kind of liquidity curves or liquidity strategies. So if you see this this uniform distribution spot curve over a wide price range. This looks exactly like your traditional AMM, right? And one of the neat things you can do is that you can start concentrating the liquidity by like changing the price range. You can see kind of the shape changing right away. This automatically, in this shape and form, is what concentrated liquidity or traditional concentrated liquidity looks like right now. So you can do that, right? But the really cool part is now you can start changing that curve. So let's say I want to take my capital and further concentrate it around our price position. So I can click this. I can change this curve. So now, this kind of curve is really great for stable pairs or for markets that have low volatility. You can capture a lot more trading fees with your capital, and you can do this dynamically. So another curve you can do is sort of a traditional bid-ask curve, that something you might see on an order book. And what's really cool about this is that this is great for if you're in a highly volatile market, being able to capture movement there. But the really neat part is like, it doesn't have to be sort of two-sided, right? So one of the things you can do is make a one-sided market. So if you wanted to say DCA and buy into a position, you can totally do this, right? And look how easy it was to just set this up, right? But let's go ahead and just for the sake of showing off a couple of these cool things. Obviously, as you change the ranges, you can change where the right now it's set to wherever the current price is for Sol USDC. But like, let's see how easy it is to add a liquidity curve to this thing. So boom, done. That's how fast Solana was. Okay, so we've just created a curve strategy, but that's not all, right? So what you can do, that's just the basic curve. But the really cool part is you can continue to add to this curve, right? So for example, let's say I'm going to just add, so one of the cool things is like you're looking at in the dark is like my existing liquidity curve. And now this is sort of the new liquidity I'm adding on top of this curve, right? What's really cool here is like, look, I can add a spot distribution if I want to deepen the liquidity I have across the whole range of this price. I can further concentrate that liquidity, or I can, again, say change that curve in such a way that like I can add sort of a bid-ask thing. Let's say
that is very impressive, and I think there's even more things that we could look at here. Unfortunately, for the sake of time,
oh shit, man,
we're a little bit
we're out. Oh no. Okay. Well, I just added that. I just wanted to see. You can see instantly how quick Solana is and how quick that curve is. That curve changed. This is going to open the door with a tremendous number of new liquidity strategies. This is just one liquidity position. You'll be able to actually create a whole set of liquidity positions across any price range and surrounded around any price position. And you can do this dynamically in real time.
Very cool.
Shit.
I think people are looking for they want a full 1 hour long masterclass on this one, Ben. I think you might have to record a much longer video to go through all of this.
Yeah. I actually had a few other things, but it's okay. We can save it for another one. Yeah.
Indeed.
Cool.
Well, if you liked what you just saw, do shoot Ben a DM. They are looking to form a DAO as well around this. They're looking for early contributors. I mean, you can just look at the chat. It's filled with W's, filled with what the fuck, or Jesus. I almost made it the whole time without swearing. Like, what the hell is this? This looks so cool. So shout out to Ben and the Meteora team. If you have the POAP at the end of this, you will get private access to that alpha as well, which is pretty sick. W's flowing right now. Shout out to Ben and the rest of the team. All right, let's keep it going. The good times with our next little alpha drop here. Maybe people have heard this phrase. I don't know. Has anyone heard of this OPOS thing, this only possible on Solana idea? Well, maybe you've heard of that. You've seen a hackathon called it. You might not know where this actually comes from. It comes from our next guest, actually. It was Mert who first coined the phrase, and it was after he saw what our next guest is about to build. This team built Kik, one of the largest messaging apps in the world, had a gigantic exit from it, and they decided to create a non-profit open source way for people to send payments to each other. Just doing the altruistic thing. Please drop a little GM in the chat for our friend Tanner from GetCode, folks. Tanner, how are you doing?
Good. Yeah, I appreciate you having me. Yeah, it's been an exciting journey. You did a great job setting up the context there. Mike and Carl also did an awesome job talking about payments. So I can actually probably compress what I'm going to talk about by about half because they've really teed up the payments discussion well. Honestly, I mean, we're all here in crypto because of payments. The first sentence of the Bitcoin white paper was proposing a purely peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And over the years, Bitcoin really has evolved to digital gold, which makes sense given its technical design. But we still think the original vision of a peer-to-peer electronic cash system is so important. And we especially think the positioning was elegant because cash is one, a great name when it's has K at the beginning, but also cash with a C is something that's universal. You go anywhere in the world, you hand someone a cash bill and they instantly know what it is. It's the most universal form of money. So we think if we're going to go mainstream with crypto, it's helpful to attach it to a familiar modality, and that's what led us to digital paper cash. So I'm going to start. I'll demo quickly here, and I'll probably just hand Cash some cash. This is the thing that originally got Mert saying, yeah, this would only be possible in Solana. So the first thing I'll do, if you want to just pin my screen even. The first thing we launched was the ability to hand crypto or load crypto into a cash bill and then hand it back and forth. So you can see here, I've got this. I know Mike's seen this before too. So if you flip that around Cash and then you just scan that, it'll pull it, should pull it, right onto your phone.
It works instantaneously. It does really feel like magic to just pull a little bill right off it. And it's $2 again, actually, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, there you go. I'll throw another one up here. If anyone else has cash or has code on the call, you can grab that. I know Mike might have grabbed that.
Somebody just grabbed that immediately. Yeah, it's already gone.
So that was the first thing we launched with, the ability to hand cash back and forth. But we recognize that very few payments are synchronous. Most payments are asynchronous. You're not always with someone or on a video call. So the next thing we launched was cash links, the ability to load a digital paper cash bill. There it is, up into a link, and then you can send that through any messenger. So I'm going to drop a few cash links in the chat here. And at any point, if someone has code or wants to download code, they'll be able to grab that. So there's 3 links there. You could easily grab those. If you don't have code yet, you tap that link, it'll take you through the onboarding. So that was the second thing we launched. So far, we've seen a lot of adoption with that. Seems to be a good product market fit with people sharing this online. The thing that's powerful is, unlike Venmo or Cash App, one, you can use this with anyone, anywhere in the world, which is quite powerful. But 2, you don't have to add someone as a contact. So you could tip someone on Reddit. You could send this over Twitter, and you're literally just loading up cash, and anyone can grab it. So those are the first 2 things we launched. It's all focused on peer-to-peer. But what we recognize is it's very, very difficult to co-opt existing user behavior, as Mike and Carl said. So what we think is honestly the most important thing in crypto, the thing that I get asked all the time, I'm sure people do, is you get someone some crypto and they ask, okay, what can I do with this? And for most of the history in crypto, it's been, well, just look at the price chart and hope it goes up and to the right. But we want to change that and really push forward to online payments. And the best thing you can do, as was mentioned before, is unlock a new user behavior. It's very difficult to change behavior. And something we're particularly excited about is micropayments on the web. And this is an exciting opportunity for us, we think, and for crypto broadly, because it's untouchable by credit card processors. They have chargeback issues, so they can't really process payments for 25 cents, 50 cents, because they have these fraud systems that have a bunch of checks and balances, but also are expensive. So crypto doesn't have chargebacks, which then unlocks the ability to do instant payments that way and avoid the fraud issue. But most of the blockchains are slow, and then the fees end up being higher than credit card fees. So Solana really unlocks this, which is exciting. So the next thing we're going to be launching probably in the coming weeks is micropayments for the web. It'll be a similar interaction to me handing a bill back and forth. You could imagine someone could have a blog, throw up a micro paywall for 25 cents, say, if you want to unlock this article, pay 25 cents. It would have a request card on the website. You could then scan that, pull it onto your phone, swipe to pay. and then it would unlock the article. There's some people doing this, building with it right now with games. Someone else who's built this cool plugin to ChatGPT that has a bunch of custom training data of someone we all know that I think everyone will find this pretty fun. So that's the next thing we're moving towards, and then just continue to move up the stack. So I would say best way to be helpful is, if you know any web developers, get them to reach out. We're going to be demoing this too and working with a few early web developers to give early access. And then stay tuned, because probably in the next few weeks, we'll be able to launch this publicly and show it to you all live.
That, folks, if you smell something in the air right now, what you're smelling is called alpha. That's the scent in your nostrils right now. If you want to get early access to this, which I very much recommend that you do, again, hopefully you can feel the magic just through the screen, but the first time you actually try it, you can really feel the difference, even versus a normal Solana payment, which is very fast. Scan this, tweet out a little message saying that you saw code on the ecosystem call right here, and you will get early access as well. We'll leave this on the screen for a minute or so for people to check this out. Tanner, thank you so much for coming on. Hopefully everyone goes and gets Code Wallet, tries it out, and start to onboard basically everyone you know. Okay, so we're going to go long, folks. I'm just going to tell you this right now. I promise you it's worth it, because we got 2 more demos to come up, both of which are fantastic. And then we also have part 2 of the earlier ads. So if you want to giggle a little bit more, stick around. Hopefully everyone has had time for this. Ben asking when swap at GetCode. This is also a lot of good BD deals are happening on the ecosystem call every time. I'll tell you that. Okay, so we're going to go next over here to our next guest has done $1.7 billion in loan originations. That's how many loans have come out of our next guest. They are the biggest real world asset protocol in all of crypto. Solana or anywhere else. They are just the biggest. They're one of the best. They started on Solana. They're coming back now because they see what the chain is doing. I really would love everyone to drop a little GM in the chat for our friend Joe from Maple Finance. Joe, how are you doing?
Great, Cash, and great to be here.
Thanks for coming on, my friend. I know you are doing quite a lot in terms of bringing kind of institutional capital on chain. But today in particular, I think folks would be really interested to see what the Solana offering is going to look like. In particular, if you are a founder with a treasury or someone who just has a lot of USDC on chain, you're going to want to pay attention to this. Joe, what can you tell us about Maple?
Absolutely. So yes, as of today, Maple is back on Solana. We built the protocol on Solana towards the beginning of last year. So as Cash mentioned, we've originated, we're now up to over $2.25 billion of loan origination across Ethereum and Solana, and 200 million of that was done on Solana. And so what we've launched is using that same smart contract infrastructure that's being battle tested through the Solana ecosystem previously, but bringing a protected, secure US Treasury back yield to the Solana ecosystem for the first time. And so this is perfect for corporate treasuries that are operating on Solana, and also for high net worth and all the big bag holders of Sol that we have on the call here. They want to diversify into some stable coins and access some secure short duration treasury yield. Then Maple is the place for you, and we're now available on Solana. So the pool has launched. As you can see, we've only got 1 test deposit in there so far, but can point to the fact that we have launched this on Ethereum previously. So this has already been operating. It's the same back-end infrastructure that's being battle tested there. And so we've already got it close to $30 million in this same solution on the Ethereum side. So what is Maple Cash Management? So as I've alluded to, it is accessing the short duration US Treasury yield. And so when you deposit into a pool on Ethereum or on Solana now, you are able to access the short duration US Treasury yield. So what does that look like? You're accessing T-bills directly, you're accessing overnight repos directly, but we're keeping it all constrained to less than 30-day weighted average duration. So it means you're not taking any duration risk, you're not taking any large fluctuations in Treasury yield pricing or any volatility that can come in that market. And being able to have a strong, secure base yield access throughout the entire Solana ecosystem. The way that we then facilitate that further is that liquidity is super important. And so whilst we're bringing this into a real world asset and off-chain context to access that yield, we're still enabling daily liquidity. So you request to withdraw on a Monday, you can get your money out on a Tuesday. You request to withdraw on a Friday, you can get your money out on a Monday. And so it's ensuring that this is a really cash management forward solution for protocol treasuries and high net worth individuals to be able to access. So you can come to solana.maple.finance. There's the pool here available to deposit as of today. And then you'll come to the pool and be able to deposit in. What we've got available to you is that you can see a high-level overview of the pool, the strategy, how we're employing it. There's also then a strategy deck there, which is this same one here, which goes into some more detail. And so all of that information is there and available to you. And then this is a KYC permission pool. Because we are accessing US Treasuries, it's important that compliance is still maintained. And so anyone is able to come in and apply for access. And what we have there is just a very simple type form that runs through a KYC process. And so that'll be collecting basic information. You can upload your docs, and this type form takes it all through, takes you through that entire process. It only takes 2 minutes, as it says here. And then there'll be automated email and follow-ups for any further questions in order to get KYC'd and compliant. Once you get whitelisted, then you're able to freely deposit. And then you're able to access that opportunity moving forward. So you can deposit in, you can upsize, you can be going back and forth and moving in and out of the position as your liquidity needs see fit. So once you're sitting on idle stablecoins, waiting for an opportunity, waiting for SOL to drop so you can go back in, you can still be sitting in and accessing that base yield, protecting yourself against inflation, and ensuring that you're managing your portfolio, whatever that may be, in the best possible way. So we're super excited to be back. I think it's important to note that we didn't leave the Solana ecosystem permanently, and we only left it really because we wanted to find principal-backed protected lending solutions. Previously, we were all unsecured lending. Now we've got this offering of the treasury yield, which we're very pleased to be the first one to enable for the Solana ecosystem.
Absolutely crazy stuff. I hope people are appreciating what kind of action this is going to create on Solana. Now, when you have a real kind of T-bill offering here, it's easy for people to keep their stables on chain and get real yield. Put this in all sorts of fun DeFi applications as well. It's big stuff coming. Shout out to Joe and to the rest of the Maple team for making it happen. Drop a little W in the chat for our friends here. If you are looking to get involved with Maple, go ahead and fill out that type form, and you should be okay. Is there any SEC risk here, Joe? I believe the answer is no. This is a regulated offering.
Yes, all of that stuff is handled for you, so you can access the pool and know that we've sorted out all the legal and compliance stuff, and you can benefit from accessing US Treasury yields, but maintaining all the principles and benefits of being on chain, self-custody, direct access, all of that stuff.
Beautiful. Thanks, Joe, so much. If you don't mind dropping that type form into the chat, I think we have a few eager users as well. I'll tell you this, folks. Before this call started, this is true, I was thinking about doing a prediction market to see if we would finish this call on time or not, using Hedgehog. Shout out to Kyle and the Hedgehog team. I am so glad that I did not do that because I would have lost all of my money here. But I promise you that the next 7 minutes or so are going to be very much worth it. You're about to see a mind-blowing demo, a world premiere demo from the Code2Go team. Any builder should stay tuned for that. As we get there, a quick note on some upcoming events in the ecosystem. You can see them all here. Tons of stuff is happening all around the world. As much as we love these virtual meetups, it is the IRL where a lot of that alpha is actually getting dropped. So do check out Solana Ecosystem Day in Zurich. Go check out the Super Team World Tour. Like I said, we're doing like 20 meetups in 20 cities in like something like 20 days. Big shout out to Chris and the rest of the gang for putting that together. Hacker House in India and all that. And of course, if you haven't seen it yet, there is a Dubai Founders Trek happening in Q4. If you are a founder and you want to incorporate in Dubai, we're going to be giving you a white glove service. You will meet all the important people, meet a bunch of other great founders. I think we have space for 20. Trek.superteam.fun. Shout out to Alex Scott. He's in the chat right now, who can also help out. Okay, with that said, I think that takes us into our final demo of the day. And it's quite an impressive one. I got to say, I had a chance to see this already, and I quite loved it. These folks are doing what is close to real magic as possible in the modern age. Please drop a little GM in the chat for JP and the rest of the Code2Go team. We're going to show you how with AI, you can now create Solana dApps in minutes instead of hours.
Hey everybody, hi Solana community and hi Solana developers in particular. Thanks Cash for having us. We're super excited. Haciel and I will take you through the platform that is coming out of stealth right now. So we are releasing our public beta and I want to thank Cash, Neil, Akshay, the Super Team DAO team for their support over the summer. Let me tell you a little bit about it before. So our goal is to make every developer 50 times more productive and faster developing Solana dApps and to increase dramatically the security of the code. Obviously, we are using AI, but we call ourselves more of an automation platform. And so what's the difference? In automation, there's a concept of a task being done, something being accomplished. And so we don't see ourselves as a companion. We don't see ourselves as a starting point. We're more the equivalent of 6 or 7 super experienced developers in your team that take all the grunt work from you, that want to save you time, and that want to make you look like a superstar. And in the process, we make the code extremely secure. So we're going to show you this morning a small use case that highlights some key features and functionalities that we're pushing today in our public beta. You'll be able to check it out later. And without further ado, here's Haciel.
So here I was asked by JP that I needed to create a dApp under 1 minute. So let's see how it went. In average, it will take maybe a developer 4 weeks. But basically, this is the test that I ran here. The dApp had to mint an NFT, use custom metadata, and transfer and burn the given NFT. So let's see how I did that under 10 minutes. So first I define my interface of the contract in a CIDL. So this is the input for the generators. And here I have the game.yaml CIDL. So here under types, I define my custom metadata and define some information for specifically for the Solana runtime. So it transfers to a PDA. After that, I define my to instruction that is going to be indicating how the state of this metadata is going to change. Here I have the CREATE metadata with the required inputs, of course, the account that we need to always receive. And also I define the change owner method with the additional input. So here I have completed the implementation of this interface for the contract. The next step was to create another contract, another program that interacts with the first one. So here I have the main CIDL, and here I have the imports block where I imported the other CIDL that we just defined. And here I define the corresponding 3 methods. So here we have the mint, the transfer instruction, and the burn instruction. So the important parts that we can check here, we already saw that we can define constant inputs and some additional attributes, but here we're defining the uses. So we'll reference other methods from other CIDLs. And what this tells the generator is that we're going to do a CPI to all the following methods, instruction, and it's going to automatically infer the corresponding accounts. So I have completed implementing my CIDLs. The next step is to start generating code. For that, I go to the terminal. I type the command código Solana generate and pass my main CIDL. This is going to generate my program and my program client in TypeScript, my client library. And after that, I generated the second program, that is the metadata program. So after generating, the next step for me was to implement the business logic. I went to the program game that was generated, and in the source directory, I can see the files, the stubs, functions that were generated where I'm going to be implementing business logic. So here I have a function. I don't need to worry about any other of the code, other part of the code, and it's secure. I only need to focus on my business logic. And I'm going to change to a workspace that has the business logic implemented because I already did this part. And here we have the same stuff function with the corresponding business logic. And my development flow was just implementing business logic or updating the CIDL in case I missed something. And here I then went to the main CIDL, main program, continue implementing the business logic. Here we can see the CPI calls that we are doing. And here we have the mint. Here we're doing also more CPI calls and the transfer. So after I have completed implementing the business logic, the next step was to integrate the client library. So here I got my generated client library, and for the demo, for the quick test, I created this app file that communicates, that uses the generated client library. So here I created the 2 wallets. In a more real world scenario, this will be Phantom wallets or any other provider. And then I started using the generated function. So here we can see the mint instruction that where we can communicate with the game instruction and pass the corresponding parameters. After that, the transfer and that burn. So under 10 minutes, I got to build this dApp with allows me to that generated a secure Solana contract. So here going quickly, we can see all the generated code that we got. So all this code we didn't have to write is secure. We do a lot of test cases. We generate a lot of the main security checks. Here for the libraries, for example. So for doing the CPIs, all the code got generated for me. So I only had to call this function to the CPI and didn't have to worry about anything else. Now the next step for me is to add compress NFT. So I want to compress my metadata, and I will be doing that by just adding the following 2 instructions to initialize the corresponding accounts. And here we have the micro tree. So for those that know how the account compression works, and after that I have my compressed NFT. So I'm going to test this part. Thanks for your time, and I pass it to JP.
I'm just going to share my screen. Here's how the community can support us. So first of all, this is a beta. It's a public beta after 3 months of private beta. And we really want developers to try it out and tell us, you know, if you like it and how we can improve. So we're calling all the community developers to participate in our beta. But one point that I would make is that it's hackathon season. You know, it's Hyperdrive, it's Q3. And you're going to be on the time constraint. You're going to have to build stuff that's really cool. Isn't it a great timing? Then all the grunt work can be done literally in seconds. And you focus on architecting and designing, and then you focus on your business logic. We take the business logic separate because people want to keep it proprietary. They don't want to train an algorithm to do the same thing for someone else. And you focus just on the thinking part, the part that your end users will appreciate, and everything else you can leverage the equivalent of 6 or 7 members. So we didn't do it under 1 minute, Cash, but we did it in 10 minutes. This would take about 4 weeks to write a few thousand lines of code. Thanks for having us. And today we're live. Come
so great
check us out.
The chat is going wild in terms of just seeing all of that code written basically immediately. A lot of people asking for beta invites and access. So just share the link in the chat. Go click on that. Spam that to all the developers. You know, Hyperdrive just got a lot easier. You know, overall amount of sweat and glass to be chewed has gone down dramatically. So shout out to Code2Go for making that happen. Joan, yeah, that's my past tense. That's what happens when these calls go 15 minutes over, is that I lose my mind. So, all right. That is it for the alpha drops. Thank you very much to all the projects that came through. Really fast here before we show the other video, because I know that's what people want. There's a great Camino thread bounty available on Super Team Earn right now. We're giving away a Breakpoint ticket and $100 for the best feedback on the Super Team Earn talent profiles, which just launched. Go check that out. Tell us that we are a piece of shit, as this GIF tells us. There's a job over at Orca for a full stack engineer. Awesome. Orca is just great. And then Phantom also looking for a senior product designer. Shout out to Henry, who also announced the results of the Ultimate Thread competition. If you have a bounty, if you need help on the Hyperdrive Hackathon or anywhere else, use Super Team Earn. Here now, we will have the final part of the call. Then I'll let everybody go. I promise it's worth the wait.
Bro, don't put everything into Doge. What are you, crazy? Only like 95% of your savings, all right? Easy 4000x, man. Yeah, you can keep it on FTX. It's super safe.
The number you are trying to reach is wrecked because of you. Kindly fuck off.
Of course, the base layer is going to be slow. That's why you need the L2s. Think of one layer on top of the other.
Oh, yeah, things will be fucking fast.
Of course, the L2s are slow. That's why you need the L3s.
Oh, yeah, things will be fucking fast.
Of course, the L68s are going to be slow. That's why you need the L69s.
Oh, yeah, things are gonna be fucking.
Imagine if you could play games and earn money. Play to earn. Or imagine if you could walk to earn. Oh my God, imagine if you could shit to earn. Huh?
Revolutionary.
That's cool, right?
It's awesome.
Okay, imagine if you could shit.
This one went a little long. Hopefully you found it was worth it. I know that I did. Big thank you to all of our guests for coming on. Go check out Meteora. Go check out Code Wallet, Code2Go, and of course, Maple Finance. Thanks so much to Carl and Mike from Six Man Ventures for coming. And thanks to all of you folks for coming through, dealing with my sound effects and everything else that there is. That is all for now. You don't have to go home, but you cannot stay here. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next time. Adios. Goodbye.